Greetings YouTube and welcome to a video that has tons of questions, but it's probably going to have to wait at least a few days to find the answer out of those questions. You see, I have been asked several times in the past 24 hours for the answer to something that we don't know, at least I don't know about. And I've looked at the forums and I've tried to figure out the answers, and maybe the answer's out there somewhere. I just don't know where to find it. That certainly wouldn't be the first time for that issue, but in the meantime, we know what the Black ISO Store is. The Black ISO Store is essentially the monthly progression award or pay to win, whatever you want to call it. Based on your progression, you have this monthly subscription-based service for $10, unless you live in a country like Canada, Australia, etc., where it's, I'm sure, more than $10 given the conversion rate. But it's a great deal. In fact, if you're Cavalier, it's a no-brainer if you spend $10 usually a month anyway. Now, if you don't have $10, you don't have $10. No harm, no foul. But for the first time, we have a countdown very similar to, say, the Dungeon Store. So if you go to the Dungeon Store, you'll see that it's got this 63-day calendar, which implies that when the 63 days is over, these crystals will be gone, and then the new crystals at some point will come back, most likely when Dungeons is making its return. But we have never, in the time that this was introduced, seen the same kind of counter. So maybe, just maybe, the system needs to do a hard reset. But Kabam doesn't do this without some kind of a purpose. Kabam doesn't have a counter just to have a counter. There has to be something in the metadata of the game that is cluing it in that it needs to end. And the speculation is, based off of a couple of theories, that the Black ISO Store is about to change. Now, maybe nothing about the featured items are going to change right now, but maybe instead of taking some of these away, they'll add to them. Maybe they'll alter a couple of things, or unfortunately, maybe they're going to start to talk about how it's going to grow in value, but also in price. Because we know that the magic phrase that has been used since it came out in July, I think was the announcement, was that it's an introductory, a special price, which whenever I hear that, it's always a sign that eventually the price is going to go up. Like if somebody says, get the exclusive price of this streaming service for $9.99 for the first year, and of course in the second year it automatically renews at double the price. I certainly hope that this would not go up more than $5 at a time, because $10 seems to be kind of the sweet spot for what you get, but Kabam also is used to capitalizing on greed and desperation, and that could lead this to go up in price. You just never know. So my question to you, YouTube, is do you think that this counter means that we're going to get a change of some sort in the Black ISO Store? And what's the max you would pay for this monthly subscription-based service? For me, $15 is probably the sweet spot answer, but I think $10 is obviously something that I want them to hold as long as possible, at least for the end of the year. If you're going to make changes to this and say in 2020 we're going to add a new quest and you're going to get special rewards, but also you're going to pay $5 more, that's not going to be an easy conversation to have, but at least it's going to be a delayed conversation. This is also coinciding with maybe some of the timelines for the gifting event. So that's another theory, that maybe, just maybe, the Black ISO Store will have a couple of discounts with maybe a greater gifting crystal for your first, because of course there are purchase limits and all these, limit 1, limit 3, etc. So I don't know. I don't have the answers to these questions. All I know is that they've been asked of me, and generally I make a video when I see enough people talking about it to where I say, well, this scenario, this situation is important to somebody out there. And so if somebody thinks this is important, they're usually a microcosm of a larger community that I don't have access to via the Line app, for example. So that's why I'm making this video. I also like to keep these kind of videos to around 5 minutes, and I see in my counter that we're at about 4:40. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up and just say thanks for watching, and please comment below and let me know your thoughts on this, including the price point that you think is the max you would pay, assuming you're paying the $10 now, and what changes or improvements you would like to see to this to make it an even better value, especially if you're not Cavalier, because the worse the progression is, the worse the weekly value is for your weekly awards based off of a number of things you can do in the game, mostly fights. Anyhow, time to end this video. Have a good one, YouTube. Thanks for watching.